Coach, thanks for joining us today.
Of course. Good to be back after last night.
So
survived.
you head to Ole Miss this weekend.
Yes.
Quick turnaround. What's the motivation in the locker room? How do you get them going again to get back at it?
I think we got a group that looks at the big picture pretty well. We try to live in a reality world. It's a 16-game season. It's not a one-game season. The reality is this is a team, Ole Miss, that's picked a little bit closer to us in the preseason polls than was Mississippi State. So I think, going on the road is always of a concern, but we've been pretty good away from the home this year. We do a good job once we get to the hotels, and once we get together down there, we have fun at shoot-around. So I think the motivation part of it is easy. The playing part's hard. Ole Miss is a tough place to play at. Jerry, you can ask Jerry later, but I'm not sure we've won there but more than one time. Twice, ever. Okay, 2 times. So you got to address that. I know it's a new facility, our first time to play in the Pavilion, but it's always got its concerns, and anytime you're facing somebody in the SEC around you, you want to have an opportunity to win it.
The one thing I would ask about Ole Miss is, is the size still a problem, or are they a little bit more equal to you?
They've got a couple of kids that'll have a size advantage on us, but it's not near as glaring as what we saw last night and what we've seen in the past out of Ole Miss. They had a 6'7" kid last year and a 6'4" kid. That they're both gone, but they've brought in some size as well, but not near as glaring as what it's been recently and in the past.
Do you feel like that you guys can do some things just against them? What do they present challenges to you, and what do you feel like you can do against them?
We won't have to put in a specific game plan. We'll be able to be more of who we were. We had to try something different against Mississippi State. It didn't work out. We gambled a little bit early and tried a triangle and 2. And anytime you try a hybrid or try basically anything you're not been doing that very much, you're not going to be very good at it, and we weren't. So we won't have to do that. We'll have to rely on the concepts and the schemes we've been working on since before Italy, so that's a little bit more comfortable. But they are very rounded. They're very deep. You don't know who can have a big night. They've had a lot of kids in double figures over the course of the year. They've had numerous starting lineups. So it's a new coach in a new situation, so it's all new to us. And when things are new and you don't have much to predict on, it's a little bit spooky.
Well, it's more focus on yourself and
sure.
Try to do what you do.
Do what you do what you trust, and then make adjustments in game, which I think we're pretty good at. I also don't think we don't have those matchup issues. It's a good matchup for Chelsea at that spot. It's not as big as it was last night. You're asking Chelsea to guard Anriel Howard, and then that means you're asking Jalen to guard Chloe Bibby. It's not as big a challenge physically. But it's different. They're very athletic. Chandrika Sessions, an all-conference kid. Crystal Allen's putting up major numbers. They brought in Gabby Crawford, who everybody in our conference had offers out to. So it's a very talented group that's in year one. We all know what year one feels like. But they're playing really hard for their coach, and anytime they're doing that, they're very dangerous.
You feel good still? I mean, last night, one of those things where you kind of have to throw it away and, okay, let's go forward with 15 more games in the conference season.
And I rewatched it a couple times, and I'm notorious for moving on, sometimes a little too fast. But I went back to watch it just to see, because I'll be honest with you, there are some things that we honestly just couldn't do anything about. Some of those rebounds she got, some of the positioning she got, there's nobody on – we don't have anything – nothing we could do about it. Some of what we did offensively, they are so hard to pass the ball against. We probably over-dribbled it a few possessions. But, again, you look at our shot quality value, it was pretty good. Our percentages were okay. We only turned it over 10 times against a team that tries to turn you over twice that amount. So, there's lots of positives to take from it. So I did watch the film and tried to glean from that and make sure we share that with our team. Otherwise, I don't think we progress from it.
The only other thing is back-to-back road games. Is there something to get into that little routine? Is there something different for your team?
Not really, not since we're not in class. I'm glad that it fell during a time when we're not in class. I think if you're going to have those, I really want to see one at the front end and at the back end of the deal. So we're not in school. If we'd be in class, I might be a little bit more concerned with it, but not so much this time around. Absolutely. I thought, IT, this is the type of game IT's made for. We said it in the shoot-around tour. She's not been feeling 100%. Neither has Taylor, ironically. But both games where those two kids match up athletically, they look like they could have been wearing a Mississippi State uniform. They really do, and the way they attack and the way they play. And the pressure is something that IT thrives under in the full court, and she's explosive to get past it. Same thing with Taylor. But Taylor's been doing that since Italy. We haven't rewarded her a lot sometimes with giving it to her in transition. She was so far out ahead of their bigs last night that it was so obvious that she got finishes. She finished around the basket more so. And I think she even made a couple free throws, or maybe 4 free throws or something last night. So she is a kid that in these matchups, once you get into SEC play, just like she did last year, she tends to thrive. And I think, just on a game-to-game basis, again, she and Kiera, kind of which one's playing the best, gets maybe 3 or 4 more minutes than the other one, but they continue to do a really good job for us there. And IT is just one of those matchup kids. She gets the right matchup, and she can really be a problem for the other team. And I thought she was last night. Thanks, everybody.